Welcome back to Preps Today with John Millea. John Millea, the prep guru from the Minnesota State High School League, is here with us. You can find John's journal at mshsl.org. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune. This is our prep show on talknorth.com. That is your Minnesota podcast network. Mostly sports, a little business, and always growing. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Gourmet Parlor Pizza, gourmetparlorpizza.com. We'll tell you more about their business later. If you'd like to advertise with the show or the network, you can reach me at jsouhan47@gmail.com. And you can always subscribe at iTunes, subscribe at your favorite podcast app, subscribe for just the show or the network as a whole. We appreciate all listeners. John, where do you want to start today?
Let's talk about track, Jim. I've got a couple of track topics. One's kind of my beef of the week, and it involves the University of Minnesota. I'm not pleased. I'm not happy. I'm a track guy.
Usually I'm the guy ripping the University of Minnesota.
I don't like to rip them. And this is not Mark Coyle's. This happened before Mark Coyle was hired as the athletic director, but they're building a new track facility right on the main campus. Stuck in there, jammed in there, but behind Siebert Field, behind the softball field. And they put it in the wrong place. They've got this St. Paul campus. Some people don't know there's a St. Paul campus.
I've been by it many times.
Right next to the state fairgrounds. Their golf course is over there. This great soccer stadium for the women's soccer program is there.
One of my daughters, by the way, two of my daughters went to the University of Minnesota, and one of them studied over there for a summer.
There you go. Yeah, a lot of kids spend a lot of time over there. There's a private road from the main campus to the St. Paul campus. Anybody who's parked outside TCF Bank Stadium, taking a bus to the state fair, it's about a 5-minute ride.
Yeah.
So, as a track guy, wanting Minnesota to become a track state, which we're not, and we're not going to become because of this decision, it was a no-brainer to me. Build a first-class track facility on the St. Paul campus where there's plenty of parking. That's the issue on the Minneapolis campus. So they're wedging this track in there. It's going to be a track. It's going to be fine. There's going to be seating, and I think they assumed the State High School League would jump on this. Oh, we're going to have it at the U because we have a lot of events there. But we can't. We do. In fact, we just signed a new 5-year extension with Hamline University in St. Paul, where the track meet's been for a long time. And parking at the U, we all know there is no parking at the U. If you don't work there or have a reserved spot as a student or whatever, forget it. St. Paul campus, State Fairgrounds, parking is not an issue. Everybody could park for free. It'd be no problem. And for the state high school track meet, we have like something, I don't know, it's like 100 workers, just workers. So there's not enough parking even for the workers, much less fans. And in the press releases, when they announced this facility, here's an excerpt. It will not only provide a first-class experience for the young men and women who compete for Minnesota, it will provide Minnesota high schools with a venue for state meets. No, hit the buzzer. No, hit the buzzer. It's not happening.
A little presumptuous, are we?
It's not suitable for the state meet. And parking is probably the biggest issue. We're now at Hamline, which is not perfect, but it's okay. And Hamline's right across the highway and some train tracks from the state fairgrounds. So people park at the state fair, park for free shuttle buses, bring them right to the track. The glory days of our state track meet were years ago up in Blaine at the National Sports Center. They don't even have a track there now. They took it out when they went big on soccer. But there was plenty of parking, plenty of seating. And that meet was fantastic up there because we have 2 classes in track, 1A and 2A. And they were run simultaneously. The big schools, the little schools, everybody's out there. You'll have the 100 meters, 1A girls, 1A boys, 2A girls, 2A. We'd have 4 races in each event, 4 finals. Unbelievable. The people from the small towns can watch the kids from the big schools, vice versa. We can't do that at Hamline. We don't have the capacity for everybody to be there. So we basically split the 2 days of the state track meet in half. Big schools in the morning, little schools after a break of about an hour and a half, which again isn't optimal, but even that's not an option at the U of M at this new track. Here's the other thing. Hamline has areas to throw things that aren't in the infield. You're going to throw the discus. It's off the end of the track. There's a great space back there. At the U of M, they're going to do things like throw the discus and the javelin on the infield. And we can't do that because
you'll kill somebody.
The javelin catchers are in for a hard time. But we have this great tradition. We have our awards stand right on the infield, right inside the track across from the grandstand. All the medalists get up there. Everybody's name is read off. Mom and dad can stand across the track, take pictures. It's great. If you're going to be throwing the discus out there, we don't have the javelin in high school, but you can't be flinging discuses around and trying to do that. So that's another reason why this is not going to happen. So in sum, the Gophers, I think they had a great opportunity to build a first-class track facility, help make Minnesota a track state, and they blew it. They just blew it. And I understand track and field athletes and the coaches, they want to be on campus. But the precedent's already set. Soccer, golf, they're over there in St. Paul. I just think in the long run, this was a big mistake, and not for what could have happened on the high school level, but for track overall in Minnesota. And now I brag about being an Iowan. Sometimes I reverse brag, but Drake Stadium is the host of the Drake Relays. Yep. I'm going down there this summer to watch the USA Track and Field National Championships. That's not happening at this track. They'll be lucky to have a Big Ten championship track meet, I think, just because it's so hard for people to get in there.
Well, that's too bad because, the University of Minnesota has a good track team.
Yeah.
They
outstanding.
They do a very good job coaching and running that program. Yeah. And there are good track athletes in Minnesota. And you get to have meets when the weather's decent outside.
Right. That's it. And, I can see you bringing recruits in. Well, we're going to get in a van and we're going to go see the track now. And it's in St. Paul. Well, yeah, that's not optimal, but I think they had a great opportunity here to just help track at all levels in the state, and it did not happen.
That's track topic number one. What's track topic number two?
Track topic number two is very positive. People who have followed high school track in Minnesota know the name Maggie Ewan, multiple-time state champion in the discus and the shot put, the pride of St. Francis High School up here in the northern suburbs. I wrote about her a lot in high school. I saw her throw a lot. I saw her break some state records. She still holds the state records in both events. As of today, she holds NCAA records in the hammer and the discus. She's the top thrower in Division I track in the country. She's a senior at Arizona State. That's where she went, and you can't blame her. Last week, they had the Pac-12 track and field championships. She wins the shot put, the discus, and the hammer for the second year in a row. And last year, as a junior, Maggie was a finalist for the Bowerman Award, which goes to the top male and female track athletes in the country, college track athletes. And if she doesn't win it this year, there's something wrong with the Bowerman Award, because she's fantastic. She's a great kid. I got to know her mom and dad when she was throwing up in St. Francis. And it was just amazing. She was one of those kids, every time she'd compete, there'd be a crowd around there, just people who like to watch track athletes and watch these old retired throwers who are coaching. They would gather at meets St. Francis was competing at to watch her throw. And they'd it's like a bunch of baseball scouts at a minor league baseball. Mm-hmm. They're talking about technique and everything. You can see these guys demonstrating technique among themselves, what she's doing, what she could do. And it was really quite a scene. So she's going to be a professional track and field athlete after she completes her college eligibility. So I'm pretty confident we'll see Maggie Ewan of St. Francis, Minnesota in the Olympics someday. She's remarkable.
Well, I look forward to seeing her there since I usually cover the Summer Olympics.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Cool. Let's do Road Trip of the Week after we tell you about Gourmet Parlor Pizza, located in Royalton, Minnesota, established in 1980, almost as old as me. Not really.
Almost.
Not really. Almost. Using the word almost very liberally. They do great. They help you with their fundraisers. They make great pizza in and of itself. But, if you're looking at our statewide audience, the reason they advertise with us and what we're trying to promote on their behalf is their ability to help you with your fundraiser.
Yeah, you're right, Jim. And this is a big time for fundraisers. And even if people are looking ahead to the next school year for your dance teams, your sports teams, prom parties, tons of proms going on right now. I see all the pictures on Twitter from all the proms, graduation, all-night parties, grad parties at your house for your seniors graduating, Gourmet Parlor Pizza. They're the place to go, gourmetparlorpizza.com online. You'll find lots of great examples of things to sell. You decide what you want them to provide for you. You'll make profits on every item, from $3 to more than $5 per pizza. They have a huge list of different types of pizzas and what the cost is, how much you'll profit. So go to gourmetparlorpizza.com or give them a call up in Royalton, 888-584-5930.
And obviously schools use gourmet parlor pizza, but so do bars, VFW clubs, Legion clubs, resorts, bowling centers, convenience stores, churches, groups within schools. They can help you out. Check them out. They've been very good to us. We appreciate their sponsorship. All right, road trip of the week.
Road trip of the week. Tuesday this week, I went to Spring Grove, Minnesota. You basically, from the Twin Cities, you go to Rochester on 52. You stay on 52. You find State Highway 44. If you see the sign that says, "Welcome to Iowa," you come back a couple miles. You're in Spring Grove. And it's a great town. I've been there before. They were the 9-man football state champions last fall, coming out of Section 1, which athletically is just a great section in just about every sport. So Buddy went down for a baseball doubleheader, the Randolph Rockets. That's a long drive for Randolph. Yeah, that's right. Home of Caleb Thielbar, who I wrote about him when he was in high school down there. And a few years ago, I went down there when they retired his jersey. And great guy. Everybody in Randolph is great. I can guarantee you that. So they had the long drive down to Spring Grove. I had a little bit of a longer drive, but it was quite a day. Perfect weather. Pork on the grill. Come on. Two really good teams, a good group of fans. Well worth more than 5 hours in the car for me. And Randolph came in undefeated. Spring Grove came in with one loss, and the Randolph Rockets came out undefeated. They swept a doubleheader. And as we've talked about before in baseball and softball this spring, you can play 5-inning doubleheaders. Normally it'd be a 7-inning game and a 5-inning game, but because of the weather and the crush of games, teams can play 2 5-inning games. So Randolph won them both. They're 11-0. Spring Grove's 10-3. This is what's unbelievable to me then. The first game, 63 minutes. Just as efficient as you can be. You didn't have time to go get a pork chop, and you'd miss something. Second game, they really dragged it out, 1 hour and 13 minutes. After, watching Major League Baseball like we do, it's incredible. It's just so efficient. And like I said, both teams are really good. Pitchers threw strikes. There might have been one error in the 10 innings total. Teams really hit the ball, played good defense, really well played. And I want to issue a special thanks to Phil the Grill Griffin and Butch Santis. These were the guys cooking pork chops, pork patties. I've had them at football down there, and I'm not saying that's the main reason I went back, but I went back because I knew that was there. This wasn't a supermarket hot dog on a bun. This was really good, and just the most hospitable place in town. I saw lots of people I know down there. And there's some interesting storylines. Phil Griffin sent me, I don't know, I think I counted 8 possible storylines before I came down. He was doing my bird dogging for me.
Wow.
Unbelievable stuff. Great sports tradition in Spring Grove. And until 3 years ago, they did not have their own baseball team. They were in a co-op with Caledonia, which is just up the road. And they really did not have a place to play baseball. They had an old ballpark that really wasn't even a ballpark. It was kind of in the shape of a baseball diamond. The outfield.
Ballpark-ish.
The outfield was and is the football field. It's a great setup. But they've raised a lot of money, a lot of community pride down there. Just did tons of work. And I think Phil told me basically what they did would have cost $300,000. Just redid. It's all new. Grandstands, press box, dugouts. The field's great. $300,000, but because of everything that was donated, equipment and labor and time, they did it for $100,000, a third of what it would have cost. Wow. And there's a lot of pride in that. And they're still raising money. They're still going to do more improvements, but it's a neat little ballpark. So baseball's back in a big way. And after the games, we turned to football for just a second. I have this tradition with the John's Journal Toyota Camry. If your team wins the state championship, you get to put a sticker on my car. And I've got lots of stickers on my car. Normally, the school will drop one in the mail. I'll put it on, tweet a picture. Well, Butch had one in his pocket ready to go. 9-man, 2017 Spring Grove Lions state football champion. So we had a little ceremony. If you go to my Twitter account, MSHSL John, you'll see some pictures and video of Butch's son, Sam, actually picking out the spot, slapping it on the car, and we posed for pictures afterwards. So that was kind of neat that the kids who won a state championship got to pick out a spot on the car and put their own sticker on there. So that is riding with me. So congrats to everybody in Spring Grove. There's a John's Journal story. It may be posted by the time you're listening to this, and I hope I can do it justice because it's a special place.